My wife, Sophia, came back yesterday after being gone for 3 months. She knelt before me, her eyes filled with a pleading look I'd never seen before. Liam, please, will you do Caleb a favor? What favor? He and his wife. They haven't been able to have kids. The doctor said it's his issue, but they really want a baby, so could you donate for them? I stared at her, the woman I had loved for 8 years and been married to for 3. Here she was, begging me to donate my sperm for another man. The most laughable part, she actually thought I didn't know where she'd been for the past 3 months. With Caleb. Sophia knelt on the living room rug, her hands clutching my pant leg, so tightly her knuckles were white. Liam, I know this is a crazy thing to ask, but Caleb really needs our help. You know, he's always treated me like a little sister. I watched her, feeling nothing. 3 months ago, her tears would have broken my heart. Now, her performance just seemed clumsy. Why me? My voice was so calm it felt alien even to me. A flicker of panic crossed Sophia's face before she composed it back into a mask of fragile beauty. Because Caleb said you're the person he trusts most in the world. And the doctor said they need someone healthy, intelligent. Does his wife agree to this? Yes. She's desperate for a child, too. Liam, please just help them. I'm begging you. I reached down and helped her up, my touch gentle, just like all the time she used to get her way with me. A familiar, triumphant little smile touched her lips. I'll think about it, I said. She immediately wrapped her arms around mine. Really? Oh, Liam, you're the best. Watching her excitement, I thought about the report from the private investigator that had arrived 3 months ago. Sophia was cheating on me with her old flame from back home, Caleb. The real kicker? Caleb didn't have a wife. He'd been divorced for 3 years. His ex-wife had already remarried and had another kid. So here was my wife, asking me to donate sperm for her lover, all wrapped up in a ridiculous, made-up story. She thought I was an idiot. 0-2 that night. Sophia made a huge dinner, all of my favorite dishes. Liam, try this lasagna. I'll learn a new recipe just for you. She eagerly served me a large piece, her eyes full of expectation. As I ate, I remembered 3 months ago when she'd suddenly announced she had to go back to her parents' place in Ohio to take care of her sick mother. I was so worried about her handling it alone that I offered to take time off work to go with her. She refused immediately. Mom doesn't want anyone to see her so weak. You just stay here and focus on work, honey. And like a fool, I believed her. It wasn't until a couple of weeks later that I was scrolling through Instagram and saw a photo posted by Sophia's best friend, Chloe. It was a group shot from a trip to Miami. In the picture, Sophia and Caleb were standing close, smiling brightly. The photo was taken during the second week Sophia was supposedly taking care of her sick mother. In that moment, my world fell apart. Liam, you're so quiet. Is the food not good? Sophia asked, her voice dripping with concern. I looked up at her. She wore the perfect wife expression, caring, attentive, innocent. It's delicious, I said. You've changed, Sophia. She flinched. How have I changed? You've become a better wife. Sophia let out a breath of relief, her sweet smile returning. That's because I want to be. Liam, I did a lot of thinking these past 3 months, and I realized I haven't been good enough to you. Is that so? I put down my fork. Then why wouldn't you let me visit you? Why did you refuse every single FaceTime call? Her hand paused. Because Mom was really sick, and I didn't want you to worry. And I was pulling all-nighters taking care of her. I looked like a mess and didn't want you to see me like that. The lies flowed so smoothly. She'd clearly rehearsed them. I nodded. How's your mom doing now? Much better. She's already been discharged from the hospital. Great. Let's drive down to Ohio and see her this weekend. Sophia's expression faltered. Well, she's still recovering. The doctor said she shouldn't have too many visitors. I smiled. No problem. We'll go another time. She looked relieved and went back to piling food on my plate. She had no idea I'd already called her mother. Her mom was perfectly fine and had been for the last 3 months. She'd even asked me why Sophia hadn't been home in such a long time. 03 that night, I sat in my home office, flipping through the private investigator's report. It was a thick file, a detailed chronicle of my wife's real life over the past 3 months. She never went to Ohio. She and Caleb had rented a beachfront condo in Miami and were living like newlyweds. He drove her to work in the morning. She cooked dinner and waited for him to come home at night. On weekends, they went grocery shopping, saw movies, and took long walks on the beach. The Sophia in the photos was beaming, a kind of deep, genuine happiness I had never seen on her face before. But the worst part was an audio recording. It was from a coffee shop, Sophia chatting with her friends. "So, Soph, what's the deal with you and Caleb now?" "It's amazing. He's so good to me, way better than Liam." "Then when are you going to divorce Liam?" "No rush. I'm having fun. Besides, Liam's making good money now. I'm still counting on him to support me." "Ha ha ha. You're terrible. But seriously, Liam is such a dud. Caleb is way more exciting." "Totally. Being with Liam is like a prison sentence. If he wasn't a good provider, I would have left him ages ago." I turned off the recording. So that's all I was to her. A walking wallet. Our 8 years together, our 3-year marriage was a prison sentence. I didn't go to our bedroom that night. Sophia knocked a few times, but I just said I was swamped with work. In reality, I was Googling divorce lawyers and researching asset division laws. I was going to make sure she left with nothing. 0 for the next morning. Sophia made a lavish breakfast. "Liam, why didn't you come to bed last night? Was work that stressful?" she asked, gently pouring me a glass of milk. "Yeah, we're on a tight deadline for a project." I mumbled. "You have to take care of yourself. Oh, by the way, Caleb said he's free today. Can you meet with him?" I looked up at her. Her eyes were shining with anticipation. She was working so hard for her lover. "Fine." Sophia was so happy she leaned over and kissed me. "You're the best, Liam. Caleb is going to be so grateful." Her kiss was cold and fake. It made my stomach turn. I met Caleb at a coffee shop that afternoon. He was a good-looking guy, tall, handsome, and charismatic. I could see why Sophia was so taken with him. "Liam, I can't thank you enough," Caleb said, shaking my hand with a look of intense sincerity. "I know this is a strange request, but my wife and I are just desperate for a child." I listened quietly to his performance. This man was single, yet he was spinning a tale about a wife right to my face. According to the PI's report, he had no fertility issues at all. His ex-wife had gotten pregnant easily and given him a son. "It's no problem. Happy to help a friend," I said. Caleb breathed a sigh of relief. "That's fantastic. My wife will be so thrilled when she hears." "What's your wife's name?" I asked. He froze for a second. Her name is Sarah. Sarah Peterson. What does she do?" "She's a nurse," Caleb answered quickly, but I saw the panic flash in his eyes. "Which hospital?" "Northwestern Memorial." I nodded, hiding my smirk. The PI report stated clearly that Caleb's ex-wife was indeed named Sarah Peterson, and she was a nurse. But she had transferred to a hospital out of state 2 years ago, was now remarried with a new baby, and seemed very happy. "Liam, don't worry. We won't make this awkward for you at all," Caleb continued. "We'll be extremely discreet. No one will ever know." "Does Sophia know?" "Of course. She even said she wants to thank you personally. Sophia is such a kind, wonderful woman. We grew up together, and she's always treated my problems like they were her own." As he said this, a smug look crossed his face. He thought he was being clever, but I could see right through him. This man was enjoying the thrill of deceiving me. "So when do we start?" I asked. "The sooner, the better. My wife isn't getting any younger, and we're both really anxious." "Okay, I'll get a physical first, just to make sure everything's good on my end." Caleb nodded eagerly. "That's a great idea. Seriously, thank you so much." I stood up. "I'll keep you posted. I'll have Sophia let you know when I have an update." Great. "Liam, you're a good man." Walking out of the coffee shop, I couldn't help but laugh. A good man. He was about to find out what a bad man looked like. When I got home, Sophia was waiting anxiously. "Liam, how did it go with Caleb?" "It went well. I agreed to help him." Sophia practically jumped for joy. "Really? That's amazing. Caleb is going to be ecstatic." Seeing her so happy for another man was a knife to the heart. "But I have one condition," I said. Her face immediately grew tense. "What condition?" "I want to meet his wife. I need to hear from her directly that she consents to this." Sophia's expression changed. "Oh, well, she's pretty shy. She doesn't really like meeting new people." "That's not going to work. For something like this, both husband and wife need to be on board, and I need to hear it from her." I held my ground. Sophia bit her lip, clearly scrambling for a new plan. Okay, let me talk to Caleb and see if we can set something up. Good. Do it soon. That night, Sophia hid on the balcony, talking on the phone for a long time. I could hear every word from my office. Caleb, he wants to meet your wife. What do we do? What? Why is this guy being so difficult? You have to think of something, or he's not going to do it. Let me think. What if we hire someone to pretend? What if he finds out? Then we'll just say my wife is out of town on a business trip. We could buy some time. Okay, I'll tell him that. After hearing that, any last shred of doubt about their deceit vanished. They would say anything, do anything to get what they wanted. 06. Over the next few days, Sophia became incredibly affectionate and attentive. She woke up early to make me breakfast, gave me massages at night, and was far more proactive in bed. But I felt nothing but disgust. I knew her affection was a performance, all designed to get me to agree to the donation as quickly as possible. Liam, Caleb said his wife is on a business trip for a few days. He'll set up a meeting as soon as she gets back, Sophia cooed. How long is the trip? About a week, I think. Fine, I can wait. She seemed relieved and continued massaging my shoulders. Liam, you're so good to me. Caleb even said he's jealous of me for having such a great husband. Is that right? I said with my eyes closed. Well, he's single now. He has every reason to be jealous. Her hands stopped for a second. What? I said, since he's single, of course he'd be jealous of people like us who are married. Oh, right. She resumed the massage, but I could feel her palms were sweating. She thought I had let something slip. In reality, I was testing her. And just as I expected, she was spooked. That night, she was on the phone with Caleb again. I think Liam knows something. He mentioned you were single. What? No way. My performance was flawless. I don't know, but the way he said it was strange. Forget it. Don't overthink it. He's already agreed. So let's just speed things up. Ow! Find a way to convince him he doesn't need to meet my wife. Just say she gave her consent, and let's get this done. Are you sure that's a good idea? What if? There is no what if. Sophia, this is good for both of us. Once we have his baby, we'll have a reason to be together. Hearing that, I finally understood their endgame. They were going to use my sperm to get her pregnant, then use the baby as a way to be together openly. The child would officially be Caleb's, but biologically mine, and I would never be the wiser. That way, Sophia could be with Caleb while continuing to live off my money. It was a perfect plan. Too bad they underestimated me. 07. The next day, I brought it up myself. Sophia, I've been thinking. Let's forget about meeting Caleb's wife. If you say she's on board, I trust you. A look of pure joy flashed in her eyes. Really? Oh, Liam, you're amazing. But I have a request. Anything, just name it. I want this to be over with quickly. No dragging it out. So I'd like to provide all the samples at once. They can have them frozen for future use. Sophia paused. Is that possible? Of course. Cryopreservation technology is very advanced. And this way it's one and done. No more hassle for any of us. Okay, I'll tell Caleb right away. She was so thrilled, she practically skipped out of the room to make the call. Listening to her excited voice from my office, I smiled coldly and opened my laptop. It was time to prepare a big surprise for them. That afternoon, I paid a visit to a law firm. Mr. Miller, based on the evidence you've provided, your wife has clearly engaged in infidelity during your marriage. In a divorce, it's highly unlikely she would be awarded any significant portion of your assets, the lawyer explained. Then draw up the divorce papers. When do you need them by? Next week at the latest. The lawyer nodded. Consider it done. After leaving the law firm, I stopped by the private investigator's office. Mr. Miller, do you need us to continue the surveillance? No, but I need you to do one more thing for me. What's that? I need more evidence. Audio and video. Specifically, I need proof of them admitting the true purpose of this sperm donation scheme. Understood. We'll get on it. Everything was falling into place. Sophia and Caleb thought they were so clever, but they had no idea I was playing a much bigger game. 08. That weekend, Caleb arranged for me to have a physical at the hospital. Liam, this is my friend Dr. Evans. He'll take care of everything for us, Caleb said, introducing me to the man in the white coat. Dr. Evans was very polite. Mr. Miller, you're a truly generous person. It's rare to see someone willing to go to such lengths for a friend. I just smiled without saying a word. The physical went smoothly. All my results came back normal. Mr. Miller is in excellent health. He meets all the criteria, Dr. Evans announced. Caleb was pleased. So when can we begin? Anytime. However, I'd recommend Mr. Miller take a few days to eat well and rest, just to ensure the highest quality sample. Okay then, we'll start next week, I said. As we were leaving the hospital, Caleb clapped me on the shoulder. Liam, I really can't thank you enough. When we have the baby, you have to be the godfather. The godfather? He wanted me to be the godfather to my own child. The shamelessness of this man was beyond anything I could have imagined. Of course, I said with a smile. I'd love that. Caleb didn't notice the ice in my smile. He was too busy basking in the glow of his supposed victory to see the danger closing in. That night, Sophia cooked another celebratory dinner. Liam, Caleb said you too went to the hospital today. Yep, the results were all good. That's wonderful. Caleb must be so happy. Sophia raised her wine glass. Liam, a toast to you. Thank you for being willing to help our friend. Our friend. Since when did Caleb become our friend? My pleasure. I clinked my glass against hers. Sophia, how long have we known each other? 8 years. Since college. And in those 8 years, have I been good to you? She looked taken aback by the question. Of course you have. Liam, you're the best husband in the world. And do you love me? Of course I do, she said instantly, but I saw the lie in her eyes. I nodded. I love you too. That's why I hope you would never lie to me. Why would I ever lie to you? Good, I smiled. Now let's eat. That night, Sophia was especially passionate, but all I felt was revulsion. I couldn't stand the touch of a woman who had betrayed me, even if she was once the love of my life. 09. On Monday morning, I got a call from the private investigator. Mr. Miller, we have what you asked for. What is it? A recording of your wife's conversation with Caleb. They admit the real plan is to use your sperm to get her pregnant so they could be together. My grip on the phone tightened. Send it to me. A moment later, a crystal-clear audio file arrived. Caleb's voice. Sophia, once you're pregnant with Liam's kid, we can tell him the truth. We'll just say the baby is mine. What's he going to do? Sophia's voice. Won't he be suspicious? No way. He's so in love with you. He'd never divorce you. And with a kid involved, he won't dare make a move. So, when do we go public with our relationship? After the baby is born. We'll say it was an accidental pregnancy. What can he do? The worst-case scenario is a divorce, but he'll still have to pay child support. Caleb, you're a genius. This way, we get to be together, and we don't lose our financial security. Exactly, and that fool Liam will still think he was doing a good deed. After listening to the recording, I understood the true depth of their malice. They weren't just going to betray me. They were going to make me pay to raise their family. And worse, they were mocking my kindness. In their eyes, I was just a fool, someone to be used and discarded. Fine. If they thought I was a fool, I was about to show them how a fool gets revenge. That afternoon, I texted Sophia, Hey, I have to work late tonight. Might be home really late. She replied almost immediately. Okay, honey. I'll save dinner for you. Take care of yourself. I scoffed and turned off my phone. I didn't go to the office. I drove to Caleb's company and parked across the street. According to the PI's report, Sophia met him here every day after she finished work. Sure enough, at 6 p.m., I saw Sophia appear at the entrance. She was wearing the white sundress I had bought her, her makeup done perfectly. She looked like a young girl waiting for her boyfriend. A few minutes later, Caleb walked out of the building. A wide smile spread across his face when he saw her. Hey, beautiful. You've been waiting long, Caleb said, pulling her into a hug. Nope, I just got here, Sophia purred, melting into his embrace. What do you want for dinner tonight? We should celebrate. Celebrate what? Celebrate the fact that our plan is about to succeed. That idiot has already agreed to the donation. Once you're pregnant, we can finally be together for real. Sophia laughed, a happy, carefree sound. Caleb, you're so brilliant for thinking of this. Well, he is easy to fool, but your acting deserves some credit, too. If you weren't so convincing, he never would have fallen for it. Of course, Sophia said proudly. I'm a professional. Watching them together, so intimate and triumphant, I felt a surge of rage that almost made me see red. But I held back. It wasn't time yet. I wanted them to be at the absolute peak of their arrogance before I brought it all crashing down. The next day, I called Caleb. Caleb, I'm ready. When do you want to do this? Really, that's fantastic, Caleb said, his voice buzzing with excitement. How about tomorrow morning? I've already made the appointment with the doctor. Sounds good. Liam, you're a great guy. I'll never forget this favor. A favor? I almost laughed out loud. Tomorrow, I was going to teach him the meaning of despair. That night, I concealed a recording device on my person, preparing for the final battle. Sophia was as gentle and caring as ever, but when I looked at her, my eyes were cold. Liam, you're going to the hospital tomorrow. Are you nervous? She asked with concern. Not all. Just doing something for a friend. Caleb is going to be so grateful to you. I don't need his gratitude. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. Sophia looked so moved, she actually teared up. Liam, you're too good to me. Meeting you was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. Such a good actress. If I didn't know the truth, I might have actually been touched. Sophia, I asked suddenly, if you ever betrayed me, what do you think I would do? Her face changed. Liam, why would you ask something like that? Just curious. I would never betray you, she insisted, hugging me tightly. Liam, you're the love of my life. How could I ever betray you? Good, I said, patting her back. I'm going to take a shower. In the bathroom, I stared at my reflection in the mirror. Tomorrow, it would all be over. This fake marriage, this agonizing relationship, and the two people who betrayed me. They would all get what they deserved. The next morning, I arrived at the hospital on time. Caleb was already there, looking cheerful and impatient. Liam, you ready? Absolutely, I said with a smile. But before we start, I want to talk to you for a minute. About what? About you and Sophia. The color drained from Caleb's face. What? What do you mean? Stop pretending, Caleb. I know everything. I took out my phone and played the recording. As he heard his own voice plotting with Sophia, Caleb turned ghostly pale. Liam, let me explain. Explain what? How you two cooked up this entire scheme? Or how you've been sleeping with my wife for the last 3 months? He wanted to deny it, but the evidence was undeniable. He was speechless. Liam, this whole thing. I'll handle it, I said, standing up. But first, I'm going to teach you the price of betrayal. I took out my phone and dialed the number for the CEO of Caleb's company. Mr. Roberts, this is Liam Miller. I have some important information regarding one of your employees, Caleb Reed. Caleb's face twisted in horror. Liam, what are you doing? Making you pay, I said coldly. When the CEO answered, I told him everything. I told him about Caleb preying on a married woman, destroying a family, and concocting this insane plan. Mr. Roberts was furious. Mr. Miller, thank you for bringing this to my attention. We have a zero-tolerance policy for this kind of behavior. After hanging up, I looked at Caleb. Congratulations. You're fired. He was completely panicked now. Liam, please don't do this. I'll break up with Sophia. We'll never see each other again. A little late for that, don't you think? I pulled out a second phone, this one filled with even more evidence. You know, I also have your hotel receipts, photos from your Miami vacation, and videos of the two of you together. Caleb looked utterly defeated. What do you want? I want everyone to know exactly what kind of person you are. Right then and there, I started posting the evidence online. I tagged Caleb's social media accounts, sent it to everyone on his friends list, and posted it in his company's internal messaging groups. Almost immediately, Caleb's phone started blowing up. Calls and texts from friends, colleagues, and family, all asking if the posts were real. Caleb stared at his phone, his face ashen. Liam, you've ruined me. No, I said, standing up. You ruined yourself. Now it's Sophia's turn. I drove straight to Sophia's office. She had no idea what was happening and was sitting at her desk, working casually. She looked surprised when I walked in. Liam, what are you doing here? Weren't you supposed to be at the hospital? I was, but we have a few things to clear up. I sat down across from her. What things? I took out my phone and played the recording. As soon as she heard her own voice, Sophia's face went white. Liam, that recording. It's real. I cut her off. Sophia, we need to talk. She glanced around nervously, terrified her co-workers would overhear. Liam, can we please talk about this at home? No, we'll talk about it right here. I raised my voice. Sophia, why did you cheat on me? I didn't. Are you still going to lie? I threw a stack of photos on her desk. Where are these? You and Caleb in Miami. your hotel receipts, a video of you two kissing. Seeing the proof, Sophia completely fell apart. Liam, please don't do this here. Why not? You weren't ashamed when you were doing it. Why are you ashamed now that people know? The other people in the office had heard me and were now staring, their faces a mixture of curiosity and shock. Sophia felt their eyes on her and looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her whole. Tell me, Sophia, why did you do it? I pressed. She started sobbing. Liam, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. You didn't mean for it to happen? Was sleeping with Caleb for 3 months an accident? Was plotting to have me donate my sperm an accident? At this, a wave of gasps went through the office. People started whispering, "Oh my God, I can't believe Sophia would do something like that. That's horrible. Cheating on her husband and trying to use him. What a disgusting person." Hearing the whispers of her colleagues, Sophia buried her face in her hands, completely humiliated. Liam, please, let's just go home. I'll tell you everything. What's the point now? I stood up. Sophia, I want a divorce. No. She lunged forward and grabbed my legs. Liam, please don't leave me. I know I was wrong. I'll never do it again. Watching her cry, I felt nothing. Her tears used to be my greatest weakness. Now they just seemed pathetic and fake. Sophia, do you remember what you told me 3 months ago? You said you were going home to take care of your sick mother. She froze. Do you have any idea how worried I was? I thought about you every day, wondering if you were exhausted, if you were struggling. I even bought a bunch of supplements to send you, but you told me not to. Liam, and then I found out you never went home at all. You were on a honeymoon with another man, playing house like newlyweds. And me, your actual husband, was sitting at home, sick with worry. She cried even harder. Liam, I really know I was wrong now. Sophia, do you know what real despair feels like? I crouched down to look her in the eye. It's the moment you realize the person you love most in the world has been playing you for a fool. I never thought you were a fool. You didn't. I played another recording, the one where she and Caleb were laughing about me. Hearing herself call me a fool and say that being with me was like a prison sentence, Sophia finally ran out of words. That afternoon, I packed my bags and moved out of her home. Sophia cried and begged me to stay, but I didn't look back. Before I left, I placed the divorce papers on the dining table. Sign them, Sophia. You get nothing. It's what you deserve. Liam, please, just give me one more chance. A chance? Did you think about giving me a chance when you were betraying me? I walked out the door without another word. Behind me, I could hear her heartbreaking sobs, but my heart was made of stone. The next day, my phone was flooded with texts from Sophia. Liam, I was wrong. Please forgive me. Liam, I'll do anything to make it up to you. Just come back. Liam, I can't live without you. I read them and deleted them, one by one, without replying. Meanwhile, I got a call from my lawyer. Mr. Miller, the news about Caleb Reed has spread. Not only was he fired, but his landlord also evicted him. He's asking to see you. No. He said he's willing to offer any compensation. Tell him some things in this world can't be compensated. After hanging up, I continued erasing Sophia from my life. I tore up all our wedding photos and packed all of her belongings into boxes, which I shipped to her parents' address. From now on, there would be no trace of her in my life. A month later, Sophia finally signed the divorce papers. She walked away with nothing. The house, the car, the savings, it was all awarded to me. The day we signed, Sophia's eyes were swollen from crying. Liam, can't we really start over? No. My answer was immediate and absolute. What about Caleb? Can't you just let him go? I stared at her coldly. Even now, you're still pleading for him? She looked down, her voice trembling. I just don't think this is good for anyone. Not good for anyone. I laughed, a sound like shattering ice. Sophia, when you betrayed me, did you consider if it was good for me? When you two were plotting to deceive me, did you consider if it was good for me? Liam, now that it's your turn to face the consequences, suddenly it's not good for anyone. I stood up. The world is a fair place, Sophia. You reap what you sow. With that, I walked out of the courthouse. I could hear her crying behind me, but I never looked back. Caleb's fate was even worse than I had anticipated. He wasn't just fired. He was blacklisted from the entire industry. No company wanted to hire someone with his reputation. To make matters worse, when his ex-wife found out what he had done, She filed for a restraining order to prevent him from seeing their son. The reason cited: the father's depraved character would be a harmful influence on the child. Caleb lost everyone. His friends cut him off. His family expressed their profound disappointment. The last I heard, he was living in a basement apartment on the outskirts of the city, scraping by with odd jobs. The man who was once so dapper and confident was now a pathetic outcast that everyone despised. As for Sophia, her situation wasn't much better. After the divorce, the scandal became common knowledge at her company. She was the subject of endless gossip and ridicule. No one wanted to be friends with a woman who had betrayed her husband so cruelly. Her work suffered, and eventually, she was forced to resign. When she went back to her parents' house, they were deeply ashamed of her. They couldn't understand how their daughter could have done such a thing. Sophia became a ghost of her former self, gaunt and perpetually crying. A friend of hers told me she often woke up screaming in the middle of the night, calling out my name. But none of that had anything to do with me anymore. 2 months later, I received Sophia's final text message. "Liam, I know you'll never forgive me, but I want you to know how truly sorry I am. If I could go back in time, I would never have done those things. I love you, I really do, but I know I don't have the right to say that anymore. I hope you can be happy and forget about the sinner I became." I read the message and felt nothing. Love? If she had truly loved me, she wouldn't have betrayed me. If she had truly loved me, she wouldn't have used me like a tool. It was far too late for apologies. I deleted her number and blocked her, wiping her from my life for good. A week later, I heard that Sophia and Caleb had gotten back together. Two broken people, clinging to each other for warmth in a tiny, run-down apartment. They probably thought it was the triumph of true love, but I knew it was just two failures huddling together for comfort. Without money, would Caleb still treat Sophia as well as he used to? Without a provider, would Sophia still worship Caleb the way she once did? I was curious to see how their story would end. 6 months later, my prediction came true. Sophia and Caleb started fighting constantly. The pressure of poverty shattered their so-called love. Caleb couldn't find a stable job and had to take manual labor gigs to make ends meet. Sophia could only find work as a part-time retail clerk. Their combined income was barely enough to survive, and the reality of their situation made them both miserable. Sophia, especially, had once enjoyed a life of comfort. Now, she had to worry about where her next meal would come from. She started blaming Caleb for being useless. He started blaming her for dragging him down. The arguments turned into screaming matches, and the screaming matches turned physical. Neighbors said they fought almost every day, so loud the entire building could hear. Finally, Caleb couldn't take it anymore. He abandoned Sophia and moved to another state to find work, leaving her with nothing. Sophia was completely broken. She had lost her husband, her lover, her career, and everything she had ever valued. She started drinking heavily, letting herself go completely. Someone saw her wandering the streets, muttering to herself like a madwoman. She kept repeating the same words over and over. "Liam, I was wrong. Liam, I was wrong." But none of it had anything to do with me. A year later, I received some unexpected news. Sophia was dead. She had jumped from the roof of a tall building on a rainy night. Apparently, she sent me one last text before she jumped, but since I had blocked her number, I never received it. The police came to my office to ask me some questions. "Mr. Miller, we understand the deceased was your ex-wife." "Yes. Her time of death was approximately 3 a.m. last night. She fell from the 20th floor and died on impact. Do you have anything you'd like to say about this?" I shook my head. "No. We've been divorced for a year. We had no contact. Do you know why she might have taken her own life?" "I don't." And that was the truth. I didn't know why she did it. Maybe it was because Caleb left her. Maybe it was the crushing weight of her life. Or maybe it was her own guilt. But whatever the reason, it had nothing to do with me. The police finished their report and left. I sat in my office, looking out at the sun, feeling perfectly calm. Sophia was dead. The woman I had once loved to the point of madness, the woman who betrayed me, deceived me, and used me, was gone forever. I didn't feel happy, but I didn't feel sad either. Her death, to me, was just a piece of news. 2 months later, I heard about Caleb. He had been in a work accident in his new state. A steel beam fell on him at a construction site. He survived, but he was paralyzed from the waist down. With no one to care for him, he was left to waste away in a hospital bed. I was told he spent his days consumed with regret over the choices he had made. He sent a message through a third party, asking to see me one last time to apologize. I refused. What good would an apology do? Could it bring Sophia back to life? Could it turn back time? Could it restore what we once had? No. And if it couldn't do any of those things, then it was meaningless. Caleb eventually died, alone and in pain. No one claimed his body. No one attended his funeral. He once thought he was so smart that he could fool the entire world. In the end, he didn't even have a single person to see him off. That is the fate of a betrayer. Today, 3 years later, I'm sitting on the balcony of my new house, looking at the distant mountains, feeling a sense of peace I've never known before. That nightmarish marriage is finally and completely in the past. Sophia and Caleb, the two people who brought me so much pain, have both received their just deserts. I haven't forgiven them. I never will. Some wounds can never be healed. Some betrayals can never be forgotten. I learned to be cold, to be ruthless, to protect myself. Now, I don't believe in anyone's tears. I don't fall for anyone's lies. I've started my life over. I have a new job, a new home, and new friends. The few people who know my past say that I've changed, that I've become cold and unfeeling. I don't care. My kindness was not met with kindness. My sincerity was not met with sincerity. If the world is this cruel, then I have to be cruel too. It's the only way to never get hurt again. My phone rings. It's an unknown number. Hello. May I speak to Mr. Liam Miller? This is he. I was a friend of Sophia's. Before she passed, she asked me to give you a message. I hung up the phone. I have no interest in hearing the words of the dead. Sophia is gone. All of her words, all of her tears, and all of her regrets were buried with her. I won't be moved by the dead, and I certainly won't change for them. In this world, only the living matter, and I have a life to live. For me,